so we begin. Welcome to another Saturday and another ReUp Rant. This is Jason Delgado coming to you from the newly refurbished Orsini Studios in lovely Los Angeles, California, where the riots are everywhere. But they have stopped, actually. Now we are on to peaceful protests. You know, the three stages. There was looting, and that was no good. And then we went to rioting, which is just the yelling, the voices needing to be heard. And some would argue, shamefully. And now we're on to peaceful protest. And peaceful protest seems to be getting everybody together. And so I hear less gunshots outside, but they're still there. I hear less sirens, but they're still there. But yeah, it's nuts, man. It's just nuts. It's crazy to be kind of around in this time as a young man. I just turned a luscious 41 years old yesterday, so happy birthday to me. But as a young man living out here in these streets, it's crazy. That's crazy time right now. And I do believe that things are changing. I truly believe that. I believe that there's going to be a massive change that is happening in the world. And I believe people are recognizing their wrongs. And I hope that that continues, I talked in the ReUp episode before about apologies and how important apologies are. It's a good place. It's a good point to start. And like racial injustice, it's tough because this is going back hundreds of years, and I've seen it, and I'm Puerto Rican. I'm almost white. But it's one of those things where, I've experienced it, just based on, having a hoodie on or something, And so I know that that's sort of you get immediately clocked, immediately profiled if you have a darker skin. It's just the way it is, It doesn't have to even be black. It's just that there's just this stigma. There's just this stigma with that. And I've seen it my whole life, and I know it's real, and I'm glad that we're addressing it. And I think that the real thing that I wanted to get into tonight, besides the lusciousness of my hair, lots of lusciousness, a 41-year-old lusciousness, a hair lusciousness. But, yeah, the hair needs a cut. We're going to work something out. But on a serious note, one of the things I really wanted to discuss, is just, all this stuff about police brutality and what we're seeing, seeing in Buffalo, I went to school in Buffalo, New York, seeing the way they handled that man, that old man, and just thinking about how, the police are so sort of fear-based. It's just a fear-based enterprise where you're kind of they want to stay safe. They want to be protected. So to do so, they immediately intimidate and fear. And it's not in a manner of protection so much as it is to intimidate and fear and then assess. And that's scary, you know what I mean? Just because it's something that takes over. I think sometimes, you just snap. I always talked about nothing is beyond a glitch, computers or people. And then that guy probably pushed that guy over, saw him cracking. He's like, oh, shit. Just keep walking, man. Hey, shouldn't have been here. It's just this automatic thing. If I don't believe that man is beyond the compassion to understand another man. And now it just gets festered. Keep walking. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Don't mess it up, man. She shouldn't have been here anyway. They could have killed us. We're out here on these streets. And then that festers as opposed to saying, hey, that was wrong. That was wrong. And we should have just stopped and said, hey, that was wrong. We went too far. Let's just take it back a notch. Kicking 19-year-old kids in the chest? What are you doing? It's you've already instilled that fear. And I think that to do that in the way they're doing it now, and I understand. It's this is our city, man. You don't know the monsters we deal with every day. These crazy people who try to kill us when I'm trying to just raise my family. They're crazy. And if you think about people that way all the time, and the people who train these are all monsters. And it keeps predicating over and over again. That's the way I think it is, man. It's like bad training. I think about it if it was, a tech services. If I was in tech services and the person called, hey, my computer's not working, and I went hey, well, you're going to have to deal with it, all right? We got a lot of people. Just restart your computer and deal with it. People would be like, hey, man, you should have, you were kind of a little bit rude. It's like, hey, she restarted and it fixed it. People don't know how many people I have to deal with all day. These stupid people that they just don't know how to fix their stuff. Hey, man, maybe you shouldn't yell, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like one of those things. It's a service. Public service. It's you're providing safety for people, providing compassion for people. And if you see people walking in the street and he has, a brick that he's going to break a window, you grab that kid and you put him down and you say, like, hey, easy. But then, get 6 guys on him, put something on his back or kick him when he's already handcuffed in the middle because, like, yeah, you shouldn't have been here. That's anger release. That's like, they don't know the monsters we deal with. We need to protect ourselves because they're out here trying to stop us. It's this. Nobody's talking. Nobody's apologizing because they're not saying like, hey, you know what? Sometimes we just get too amped. We get too amped. The training kicks in and we're just trying to protect ourselves. Sometimes we just get involved and it just gets too much. And we may need help. We may need new training to help us deal with people. And people, you need to be compassionate with the police. You need to understand they're doing their jobs. So don't be like, hey, you motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. You got to try and understand here, and then they may snap. Don't instigate something, and then when they snap, go like, hey, man, it's not against the law to call somebody a punk bitch. What do you expect to happen, dude? Because I made a punk bitch in the street, 3 guys are going to snap on you. If they got a badge, it protects you only so much because people are people. That's the truth. And we need to understand, and more compassionate people, more compassionate voices, more compassionate training needs to be implemented into the police force. Needs to be implemented into these people who are set to protect us. Because there's not enough compassion. It's too much fear and anger and power. Or force, rather. It's not power. It's not this like natural thing where it's like, hey, we're trying to work together as a community. It's kind of like, you guys are pigs, you guys do nothing. It's like, we protect you. Yeah, look at these pigs when something goes wrong. Who are you going to call? You're going to call us because we're the ones. But it's like, that back and forth needs to come to a medium ground. Where we go like, hey, we'll call you. And sometimes the situation will go bad. But part of the badge, part of the training, part of the allure of being a police officer is managing that level of justice. Not doing things to certain people because they have rap music on. To try and shake them into something before anything's even happened. Or just putting that stigma on people just because they're wearing a hoodie and they're, happen to be a little brown. We need that training, but that training takes time. And people need to be conducive to that. I like that the looting turned to rioting, and the rioting, I understand rioting because it's like, yo, we tried peaceful stuff, now we're breaking windows. And it's messed up, but people flip. That's the way it is. But it's turned. It's peaceful. It's understanding now. We need to continue in that direction. But I just think this has a lot to do with fear-based. Like, they should not be putting us in fear. They should be putting us at ease. And we should be trying to communicate that back. You give us that, then we give you like, hey, we're out here trying, Nobody wants to hate you. If something goes bad for me, if they steal my car, I want you there. Because bad people exist. But that level of justice, that control, that ability to manage that, that emotional pop, that needs to be trained, that needs to be implemented. Now, they talk about defunding police. In a way, I disagree with that. I think we need to take a lot of that funding and just shift it. I think we need to move it towards training, towards implementing something that's going to allow these people to have more of that compassion, more of that zen, more of that community ability. I used to read these books, these Bosch books. I wish I remembered the author, but great books. And in one of the books, they talk about how in the past, young guys used to be put with older police officers so that when they went out in the neighborhood, they'd be able to communicate in a way that was more like, hey, this is how you deal with this situation. These are people on the block who will help you, people who know on the block who you want to stay away from or to watch. And you learn the ins and outs of the community so you could deal with the community. But as the time went on and more people signed up for police, they just put youngins with youngins, and it just became all about roughhousing. And I totally see that. As I'm saying it, the sirens are going off. You know what I mean? As I'm saying it. Doesn't stop out here. At least there's no gunshots yet. But anyway, that's a good signal to kind of wrap up this rant. But I just want to say we need to educate ourselves. We need to, give to ourselves that compassion, that forgiveness. We need to be able to say to ourselves, hey, we messed up here. You may messed up there, but we messed up here. And then they can come back and say, hey, you know what? We're not going to, now that we know you're hearing us, we're not going to go rob Louis Vuitton. And there's some middle ground that comes to that. It really, really does. Because, a lot of these places that burn I feel terrible for these small businesses that work all these years and then all this terrible stuff happens to them. And they have nothing to do with it, that they don't feel like they're racist. But it's just now the system is corrupted. The system is corrupted with fear and violence. And until that's swelled, those casualties happen, man. And it's sad, but we need to find a way to now quell that. And it starts with getting real with it, getting serious about what the truth is. And that there's police brutality, man. There is serious violence out there that needs to be quelled. And we need to start by everybody saying what they did was wrong and ways to find that we can fix it. Anyway, I appreciate you listening. I do hope that you subscribe to this Black Lives Matter movement because, it is true because it covers us, man. I got I got it all in me, bro. We all the same. We all out here trying our best. They look at us different, And I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I've been, I'm educated. I have a good family. I have the ability to learn. And I have amazing friends who are officers. Police officers. Former police officers. People I grew up with. Best friends when I was a little kid who are police officers. And good men. But it's if they're such good men and they have to see that it's yeah, man, that happened, and we got to chill a little bit. The world's getting crazy, but we also need to chill because we are part of that balance, a huge part of that balance, because we have the shield. So it's our responsibility to uphold even higher, in my opinion. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. My name is Jason Delgado, and we'll see you on the next one. We hope. Stay safe out there. Thanks.